Today we're doing a topic that is one of my favorite topics to do on the Culture channel. Hello my favorite people, thank you for being here, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Today we're checking out more classical composers. And like I said, this is seriously one of my most favorite contents to do on the channel, because it's like you get to see things and understand things that you may have not previously been exposed to, and this channel of culture ultimately gives me the opportunity to check out things that I may be interested in or may have not realized that I'm interested in. And that's really how I dove more into classical music and classical composers. We all know the names Beethoven, we all know Bach, but since starting the series, I've learned different styles of composing, the different lores and stories behind certain compositions, and I just love the way that we're going with this composition and classical music. How many times have I said C words? Jesus Christ. Anyways, let's get into the video. Today we have the top 100 most popular composers of classical music of all time. You guys know I'm a bit of a Beethoven fanatic, so I'm assuming he's going to be on there, but I'm really interested to see who we haven't heard of, or sonnets and songs, waltzes that we will recognize but didn't realize, hey, this was this composer or this person did that. That's always my eureka moments are always the most fun too. Anyways, I just hope you guys are enjoying the classical series on the channel, and if you are, comment some ideas or composers or specific pieces that you want me to check out on the channel or on Patreon if it's gonna get copyrighted and blocked. But thank you for being here. Like the video, subscribe, get your goal to 10K on Instagram, and here we go into these classical pieces. Oh, millions. Okay. The 100 composers of classical music with the most viewed Wikipedia articles. So we got Jacopo Peri from 1561 to 1631. That's another thing, the time frames. I wish time travel was real. I believe this is probably a different Bach. Friedman Bach. 0.5 million. So in the early centuries, I guess classical music wasn't as popular. 1800s, 1700s, 1600s. Yeah, we're not breaking a million yet with Wikipedia views. Or I guess these guys are just less known. But this Scarlatti name is, it rings a bell. What's going on with homie's eyes? Why do you look like that? Giuseppe Tartini, Baroque, Romantic, Renaissance, all the different styles. We've got to check out more of the styles of classical too. 20th century, Renaissance, Romantic, Mascagni, Gesualdo, Anton Webner. Who would have thought there's so many different composers? Jesus Christ. Charles Gounod. He looks like Van Gogh, he's pulling a Van Gogh. Or maybe it's just a style of paint, but he reminds me of Van Gogh for some reason. Okay, we're getting into the 2 millions. It's starting to get very popular. There's another Bach. And another Bach. Leopold Mozart. Rostropovich. 1927 to 2007? That's recent. I thought, okay, that's bewildering. I literally thought classical died out and you don't hear music like that anymore. So I thought it just wasn't as popular. Just I love my 50s music, but no one really makes music like that anymore. Hopeful for the future. Strauss, another Strauss. A lot of repeating names. Weber, we've seen that name before. Christoph Penderecki. 2020? Holy shit. 2020. (1933 to 2020). The first song on the list was from the 1500s, and you're telling me there's still classical music being produced now? Ooh, another, oh my god. We have to now compare freaking old classical to modern classical. 20th century, as they call it. Romantic, Renaissance, any other previous genre of classical, and now compare it to modern day classical. We went from painting the composers to actually having real photos of them too. That's so cool. Again, back to the 1800s. Romantic. That seems to be very popular. Arvo Part. I don't know. Something about his face makes me think it's going to be very, like, hard-hitting. A lot of horns or something. Offenbach. That's a cool name. 3 million. So we're starting to get into the more popular genres. A woman! Again, these are the top most popular 100 composers. And we're about halfway through the list and we finally see a woman. Clara Schumann. No, we have to stand, you guys. A female composer? And what year? The 1500s? What the heck? Where am I? Where did I go? 1819. Was it even legal for women to compose? Clara, we have to stand. We have to. We have to look up her whole history. And she's gorgeous. Clara Josephine Schumann. Born September 13th, 1819. Died May 20th, 1896. German, of course. The Germans just know how to do everything, it seems. She was a composer, a piano teacher. Oh, we've got to look into her whole... That's just so wild. A female composer from the 1800s. First woman on the list as well. Like, is this one of one or are there other female... That's just... I'm shocked, seriously. Romantic. Her style. Her style was romantic. Hector Berlioz. All the names are hard to pronounce, I'm noticing too. Modest Mussorgsky. Classical was just popping in the 1800s, apparently. Jeez. Theodore W. Adorno. None of these names sound American. Where were the Americans in the classical world? Richard Strauss. Again, the repeating names. You have Johann Strauss II. We're getting into the millions and millions of views. So these people like are popular composers. I'm still not over Clara. Shout out to Clara. So this guy seems like he'd be very tall. George Gershwin, something about his head. As well as Sergei Prokofiev, him too. He looks very tall. 20th century, romantic. 20th century. Romantic is very, very popular. It's a popular style. What does romantic actually sound like, though, is my question. Igor Stravinsky. So again, a lot of names I haven't heard of, but I need to check out. We're getting into the top 20, top 10s. We went from 500,000 views to like tens of millions of views now. Look at the hair on that guy. Jesus. Baroque. We've seen that style a couple times. It's not very popular, it seems. Franz Liszt. He sounds like he does a lot of waltzes. Oh, I thought that was a woman. It might be. A bit of cleavage. Is that a woman? Antonio Vivaldi. Is that a woman? Someone let me know. I think it's a woman. Baroque. Richard Wagner. Pyotr Tchaikovsky. Hans Zimmer. He's still doing it today. Shout out to Hans Zimmer. I want to listen to like modern day classical music and see what pieces are like just would move me the same, you know? All right, we're getting into the top. Oh. What the heck? We got to 5. Frederick Chopin, romantic, 1800s, 26 million views. So homie's popping, as well as the previous guy, but the top 4 spots are empty. Oh, okay. Andre Bocelli. He's still making music now. Of course, Mr. Bach. I salute you, sir. The real Bach, the owner of the name Bach. Shout out to you. Okay, and Beethoven has to be there. Of course, Ludwig. Shout out to you, homie. Crazy hair. Get some conditioner. And Mozart. The biggest debate has always... Oh, my God. But look at the... Mr. Bach. No comparison. But also the fact that Mr. Andrea Bocelli is contending with the likes of Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart. Shout out to you, sir. 20th century, he's still making classical pieces today from the 1960s-ish to now, present day. And he has 27 million Wikipedia views, which means he's popping. we've got to check out Andrea as well as Clara. And then again, the biggest argument between these three, they're interchangeable, so you could argue. Beethoven, Bach, Mozart, who's the best? It's still always going to be up for debate. Let me know if you want me to do a video where we like genuinely compare the three. But for me, I am a Beethoven girly. I stan Beethoven. But Mozart, he does something to me as well. I'm still not very much into Sebastian Bach and his pieces. However, I do know, like, I respect him very much. And this Andrea guy, I want to get more into him because, like, you can keep up with the likes of these big three, the big three gods in classical, then something, you're him. And I got to learn more about you. But yeah, those are the top composers in the top 100 composers of all time. Again, so many names, so much music that has to be discovered now on the channel. Oh my god. Clara, you queen. Anyway, make sure you like the video if you enjoyed this video. And yeah, more classical music coming for sure. There's so many different names, like I said, that we have to now dive into. Get ready for the ride. It's going to be a deep one. What did I just... Anyway.